Starbucks is reportedly looking to exit China amid falling market share and stiff competition from low-cost domestic rivals.
And Caixin reports that the Seattle-based coffee chain has held talks with more than a dozen potential buyers, marking a shift from its earlier efforts to secure a strategic partner in China. Rumors of a potential sale surfaced last week, and Starbucks issued a denial. Its China operations make up roughly 9% of its global revenue.
Starbucks' dominance in China's coffee market has fallen sharply in the last few years, with local coffee chains such as Luckin chipping away at its share of the $22 billion industry. Euromonitor says Starbucks' market share fell to 14% last year from a high of 42% in 2017, despite heavy investment. The competition also forced the company to cut prices on some drinks, the first time it has done that since opening its first store in China back in 1999.
And CNA's Guan has more on the factors contributing to Starbucks' decline in China, including in Shanghai, where consumers are spoiled for choice when it comes to coffee.
It's quite undeniable that local rivals are undercutting Starbucks on price and convenience. Starbucks is also contenting with more folks in offices owning their own gourmet coffee machines, as well as other caffeine peddlers, such as tea chain like Hey Tea and Chagi. Now, I approached some caffeinated folks near the biggest Starbucks in China, and here's what they have to say about Starbucks.
It's way out of my price range. And I got a coffee machine on my table, so I made my own coffee, like 2 shots a day. It's really cheap for me and really convenient. And the only chance I go to Starbucks, I think, is that I go on a date.
There are so many brands or so many companies selling coffee here in China, and they are good. And also it depends on the price. Of course, if you offer seats and a nice environment, then if you charge higher price, okay. But definitely Luckin is very aggressive. I can see that price-wise.
在上海的话，到处随处可见嘛，就比较方便。然后还有就是有的时候朋友聚会啊，或者说聊点事啊，就是星巴克会比较方便一些。
So you see, for good coffee, the folks here have cheaper choices. But if they want a nice place to chit-chat over coffee, Starbucks still has a tiny niche over there. Even then, there are other independent cafes or small independent chains to contend with. So, which is why, despite having more stores, Starbucks revenue dropped from a peak of $3.7 billion to just $3 billion last year. According to the 2025 China Urban Coffee Report, China's coffee industry grew 18% last year. The average cup per person also grew from under 17 cups in 2023 to over 22 cups in 2024. The report estimates that this statistic could reach 30 cups per person this year. But if you compare that to the United States, well, according to the US National Coffee Association there, the average consumption of coffee is a whopping 729 cups. So in a way, you could say there's quite a bit of ground and potential growth in China here, especially in the lower tier cities. The lower hanging fruits here in the first tier cities have all been plucked. In fact, you take our neighborhood, for example, just 10 minutes walk from our bureau, there are at least 8 Starbucks outlets, 8 Manor Coffee outlets, that's a Shanghai chain here, and 5 Luckin coffee outlets. It just goes to show you how keen the competition is here in Shanghai. Lower tier cities appear to be the new battleground as they become more developed. More people are adopting lifestyles from first tier cities. While these cities offer virgin territory, they do have lower spending power that cannot compare with those of the first tier cities. And therefore, while they have powered the growth of chains like Luckin, it's hard to see how Starbucks can chase that same growth given its price point and lower spending power of the smaller cities. Starbucks would have to consider whether its capital can be better spent elsewhere in the world chasing higher margins.